Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Punya Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare So, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, welcome. I will be speaking in English. This is everybody can understand. Mm. So, Gora Hari Prabhu was asking me today to find out if we have some uh, equivalent, something similar to the New Year festival, like we have like a New Year tradition in the Western culture that when the old year goes, then we leave all things behind and then we make new resolutions for the new year, and then the new year come and we try to somehow become better persons, you know. So that's like a tradition in the Western culture. Even like where I come from, in Denmark, there's the Danish Queen. She will give a talk on the evening at 6 o'clock, and the whole nation will watch when the Queen is speaking. I think in England they have the Queen speaking at Christmas, but in Denmark she speaks at the New Year. She has done that almost 50 years. And she actually also talks about how you can become a better person and contribute to society. And like it's quite enlightening speech, and she will end with God bless, you know. So she has some spiritual connection also to that. So, but in the Vedic tradition or in the Vaishnava tradition, we have a completely different calendar. You know, this is like the Goloka Dham. It's very nice. It's wonderful Goloka Dham calendar. You can all go to the shop and get one. It's very nice. It's the Vaishnava calendar for the year 2022. And in this calendar, we can find all the special events which mark the Vaishnava culture. There are all the different festivals, there are all the fasting days, there are the days of appearance of the Lord in his different incarnations, and there are days of appearance and disappearance of the devotees of the Lord. So this is like found in the calendar, and there are all the times and the tithis and all, because the Vaishnava calendar is not a sun calendar, it's a moon calendar. So it's a different kind of timing. It's not that the Krishna Janmashtami will be always on the 15th of August. It will always move. It will be a different day because it's according to the Astami, according to the position of the moon. So in this way, this calendar is like the Vaishnava calendar, and that's the calendar that we follow. And because we follow this calendar, we also have a different New Year, because our New Year is the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's where the counting of the New Year begins. So that counting is also different. So we also don't take like vows, like New Year resolution vows, but we use this different time period of the year for different kind of vratas or practices. There's the Kartik time, which is a very auspicious time in the month of Kartik, in the autumn. There's a very beautiful time where you can do something special within the Kartik, and because the Kartik month is specially blessed, whatever you do in Kartik you get 100 times more benefit from doing your spiritual practice. I know in India, for Kartik, many go to Vrindavan to do parigram, to do special vrata in Vrindavan, to take special shelter during the month of Kartik, so that month is giving us special benefit. So we don't have like the Western tradition of a New Year's resolution, but we have a different calendar. And within this calendar, the time periods which we are entering now, for me it's just my personal preference, because it's a very, very special time, and for many, many years I have been using this time as a kind of second Kartik, because there are some appearance days which comes up within the first February, March, which are very significant for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And these appearance days, it's actually within 2.5 months, the whole Panchatattva appears. And the Panchatattva is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Shivas Thakur, and Gadadhar. So this is for these special personalities, we have, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we have a very special relationship, because this is the incarnation of the Lord who is most close to us. And therefore, because he's so close to us, he also has the greatest significance for us. He is like, he came just for us. You know, he's very present, and it's just like 35 years or something that he appeared. So it's within the time of universal time. It's like a blink of. It's less than it's a really short time since Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we see these appearance days, which comes up in February and March and April, the first appearance day we will celebrate. It's in the calendar. I'm not going to look it up. It's just the first one. And that first appearance day is the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya, he is, for us, he is one of the most important persons. There are three of the Panchatattva personalities who are actually like divine, godly personalities, especially. And Advaita Acharya, he's one of them, because he is Mahavishnu himself. So he is Krishna, he is Mahavishnu, he's the Supreme, but he comes as a devotee. And it is Advaita Acharya who came as a devotee, and he saw the condition of the time, which was very degraded. And he said, now is the time that the Lord has to incarnate to save the condition of the fallen souls. So it's to save us. So Advaita Acharya, he lived in Shantipur, where the Ganges also flow. So he would go and sit on the banks of the Ganges, and day and night he would chant and call, "My Lord, come, my Lord, come." And he would worship a Shalagram Shila, like we have on the altar, these small Shilas of Krishna. He would worship one Shila with Gangajal, with the water from Ganges, and Tulsi leaves. And then he would call and call and call for Lord Chaitanya to appear. And this calling had so much devotion and so much demand and so much love that Lord Chaitanya responded. And he appeared. So we can thank Advaita Acharya for this special, how he was a instrument in the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the next appearance day is like a week later or something. There is the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. And Nityananda is, we say, Balaram, Hoile Nitai, that Lord Nityananda, he's none different from Lord Balaram. So he's also like a supreme personality, godly personality. He's Lord Balaram himself, but he comes as Lord Nityananda, who is also the special thing about the Panchatattva, or these 5 truths, divine truths, who appeared with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is that they all come, although they are godly personalities, they all come as a devotee. They don't come and say, "I am God." They don't. And if you would worship them or glorify them, as a godly incarnation, they would cover their ears and jump in the Ganges and say, no, don't say I'm an incarnation of Vishnu. No, they would not accept. They all had this very, very special mood of being a devotee of Krishna. And because being a devotee of Krishna is the highest bliss, Krishna himself wanted to find out what it's like. There's so much taste and so much benefit to be gained by serving Krishna and chanting the holy name that Krishna, for himself, he wanted to find out, how is this? So Lord Balaram, I think Balaram, he must also be a little older than Lord Chaitanya, but he appeared in a different place, so I'm not completely sure. They met later. But in the calendar, we first celebrate the appearance day of Advaitacharya, and then there is Nityananda Trayodasi, so that's not a full moon, that's like a few days before the full moon, or the day before something. That's the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. And then there's like 1 month's time within our calendar. There's like 1 month's time between Nityananda and the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya, which is the Gaurapunima festival. So I personally have always found that this 1 month's time between the two appearance days of these two lords, Nityananda and Chaitanya, is a very, very beneficial time to go deep and to meditate upon the mercy that we have gotten by the appearance of the Panchatattva and of Krishna in this most magnanimous incarnation, because there is no more incarnation which are more merciful than the incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he appears on the Gaurapunima festival, and we will have a nice festival for Gaurapunima. We always have a nice festival for Gaurapunima. It's always one of the best festivals, the Gaurapunima festival. So the appearance of Lord Chaitanya for us is like when Krishna appeared, he was very kind of like he had relationship with those devotees who were already intimate with him. It's like if you go to a theater play, you will see all the perfect actors on the stage, and you will be the person who sit and watch. So there's a beautiful play going on, and you can watch it. So this is like Krishna Lila, you can watch. But when Lord Chaitanya comes, it's like he's jumping down from the stage and bringing everybody in the audience. Everybody gets to be part of the play. It's not remote. It's direct. So that's a very important, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is so merciful. He is Krishna himself as a person. It is Krishna, but he has changed his color. He has a golden color, and he is extraordinarily beautiful in his golden color. And if you have ever been to Bengal, you will know that the people in Bengal, they are generally quite small. They're not so tall like maybe Maharashtra or some other place in India where people are bigger, I don't know. But Bengalis, they are quite small, and they are also quite dark. So Lord Chaitanya, he was 7 feet tall, which is like 2 meter 10 or something, and he was golden. So he kind of like popped out, everybody. It was very attracting to see Lord Chaitanya, and he would dance and he would chant and he would engage everybody in the Sankirtan. So it was clear that he's not an ordinary person, but he would engage everybody. So what I wanted to read today is because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left, he only left 8 prayers, 8 stanzas, 8 prayers for us in writing. He didn't do any writing himself personally. He asked his followers and his disciples to compile the scriptures and make commentaries on the already scriptures which were already there, like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. He would ask devotees to make commentaries and elaborate. He found what we know from Brahma Samhita today. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found that, but he didn't write it. He excavated that. He saw, oh, this is a real scripture. This is the Brahma Samhita. Lord Chaitanya found that, and this is just a small part of the whole Brahma Samhita, what we know of today, the verses. But he only left 8 verses, 8 prayers. That is like, for me, if there's, you always need to find a prayer that touches your own heart. You know, you cannot just pray something like a, like a machine. You have to find some prayer that touches your own heart. And there are so many prayers from the Vaishnavas and in the scriptures, in the Bhagavatam and in all the books of the Vaishnavas are full of prayers. But many of these prayers, we can find our favorite prayer and we can pray that prayer that touches our heart. We can also have a prayer that is like, you can come before the Lord and you can just pray your own prayer, kind of like make up your own prayer as you go. That you can also do. That's also like bona fide, to like reveal your heart to the Lord. Please, my dear Lord, kindly help me, So, but these 8 prayers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they have such a great significance because they're like living prayer. They're like to-do prayer. They say, they have different things what they say, but they also have things that you do. So they're very wonderful, and one can again and again and again one can go back to these prayers because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the most recent incarnation, so he's very close to us, and this is the only thing he left in writing. So it's like for us. And in the process of Krishna consciousness, there is no shortcut. You cannot jump ahead to a place where you are not. You have to go like step by step. It's a gradual process that, over your whole lifetime you will develop into more and more realizations of who you are and who Krishna are and what is your relationship and how you can serve. But if there is a shortcut anyway, that's these prayers. There is no shortcut, but still, there may be a clue of how you can actually go deep and go far and realize Krishna, and this is in these prayers. So I will read them and just maybe say 1 or 2 things about each of them. And what we will notice about these prayers is that quite some of them are far beyond our realization at the present moment. But because Lord Chaitanya has given it to us through the disciplic succession, it has come to us personally, from him personally. Still we can read them, we can chant them, and we can take shelter in these prayers. So this is like from the songbook, one of the first songbooks, and it's very nice because there's a small introduction to the prayers. I'll just read that and then read the first prayer. And if you can chant along, you can chant along the prayer also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed his disciples to write books on the science of Krishna, a task which his followers have continued to carry out down to the present day. The elaborations and expositions on the philosophy taught by Lord Chaitanya are, in fact, the most voluminous, exacting, and consistent due to the system of disciplic succession. I mean, this is actually just this sentence. If we really understand what this says, we have an incarnation of God. We have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And everything that's known about him, it didn't get lost. I know in the Christian tradition, I think they just found, like last half year, they just found some new pieces of the scripture, which are like, we found this new piece, it's new revelation. But the scriptures of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his teaching and all the philosophy, it's very intact. It doesn't miss a piece, There is in Vrindavan, there is a library with more than 32,000 books from the Goswamis, and some of them are not translated, but they are still there. So now devotees are starting to endeavoring to go deep and find out the different scriptures which are there and continue to translate them. But it's not missing, it's all there, and everything that's already there, like the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita or the different descriptions of Lord Chaitanya, it's like just one of the books is like 18 volumes long, 17 volumes long, so there's a lot. We have endless information left about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is intact because of the system of this disciplic succession, because there has always been living persons who have received that and given it to students which were trained. So they have always trained the next generation, who then trained the next generation, who trained and in this way it didn't get lost. That's important. Jesus also wanted a disciplic succession, but his first disciples, who is his direct line? Can we say the Pope is now the direct line? I don't know, maybe, but it's not so clear as the disciplic succession, which go back to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even further. It goes even further. We have a line of disciplic succession which go back 5,000 years. So it's like really, really strong line of teachings which are kept as they are. So the disciplic succession is there. Although Lord Chaitanya was vividly renowned as a scholar in his youth, he left only 8 verses called the Shikshashtika. These 8 verses clearly reveal his mission and precepts. These supremely valuable prayers are translated herein. So you can chant, if you can chant with me also, it's good. Cheto tapanamajanam bhavamahadavagniya nivapanam shairai kairavachandikam vitaranam vichyavarhu jivanam anandam buddhivadanam patipatam buddham mitasvadanam savatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it sprays the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge, and it increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So if you go deeply into the study of this first verse, you will see that there are like 8 benedictions that you can find for yourself. So you can go and you can look it up and you can see, okay, the dust will be cleansed from the heart. The fire of conditional life will be extinguished. I will be pulled out of repeated birth and death. So you can find the different benedictions within this verse. So it goes very deep, and it's something you can continue to come back to and see, oh, this is what. And there's the end of the prayer. It enables us to taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So it's also something that will, the hole which is in the heart, where only love of God can actually, the hole is so big, and the only thing that can fill that hole is actually devotion. Then the hole will be filled, and there is no more hole in the heart. So that nectar, we can taste that nectar for which we are always anxious. That is found within the benediction of the Sankirtan movement. So the verse number 2, Nam Nam Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tata Vitani Tamita Smaranena Kalaha Eta Dusitava Kribavan Mamapi Durdaiva Miti Shamiha Janinanuragaha. So, O my Lord, your holy names alone can render all benedictions to living beings. Thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies, and there are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you and your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. So here we have a wonderful description how there are hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. So they are not, that's how we can, again and again, we can say that the Krishna consciousness movement, it's not a sectarian movement, because we are not saying these are the only names of God. There are hundreds of millions of names of God. So you just chant the name of God which attracts you. So that's a very, Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to make sure that it didn't become like a closed sect where nobody can enter. He wanted the Sankirtan movement to be completely open, that everybody can take part. So he gave us the holy names. Especially he gave the Mahamantra, but he also says any bona fide name of God you can chant. And he is, in this prayer, he's saying that there are no hard and fast rules how to chant. And of course we want to have a nice melodious kirtan where we are like cushed in the beautiful chanting of the holy name. That's desirable. We also want to glorify the Lord as nicely as we can, with the best playing mridanga and the best instrument as we can. But Lord Chaitanya is making a point. There is no hard and fast rules. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, he would have kirtan where everybody was singing a different melody. They would all sit together, but they wouldn't sing the same melody. Everybody would sing something else. And I'm quite sure that it didn't sound like beautiful, but that he wanted to make a point. He made also another point that he would mix up all his prasadam, so that it would just be one big mush. And whoever who wanted maha, he would have to eat that. Not, I want a piece of samosa, I want a piece of, for the palate. He was saying, you want mercy? Okay, you take this is mercy. So the holy name in the same way, there is no hard and fast rules. We want to do the best we can to attract. Why do we want to play the instruments nicely and chant nicely and come together and sing in a wonderful way? Because we want to attract as many people as possible. But there is no hard and fast rules for the chanting. But if there is one rule, this is the next verse. Because in order to chant, you have to have your mind in a certain way. Otherwise, the holy name will not, it will kind of like like water on a lotus flower. It will just kind of like drop off. You will not really enter your consciousness. And that consciousness is described in the third verse. Trinadapi sunichana tarorapi sahishnana amanana manadena kirtaniya sada hari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So, within this prayer, it's actually like it's like an opposite description of the conditioned soul, because he is not humble like a blade of grass. He is proud like a, he's like, like on the ocean when the wave is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is how the pride is in the conditioned soul. He would never be like a blade of grass, which is, if you step on it, it kind of like it just goes flat for some time, and if you leave your foot, after some time it will go up again. It's not, it doesn't really mind, So that humbleness, that's like the nature of the soul, how it has to be in order to come to the holy name. And then there is to be more tolerant than a tree. That's some of the most difficult thing for us, because a conditioned mind will always have everything kind of like planned out. It has to be like this, My life has to be like this, my relationships has to be like this, the food has to be like this, whatever, everything has to be in a certain way. We have certain expectations. And that's all out of pride, because we think we are very great. We're like, we come to the material world, it's like a playground where we can play that we are God. So because we are like thinking ourselves very superior and thinking that everything is centered around us, therefore we have pride. And that pride makes that we will not tolerate if somebody is kind of like, don't notice us and don't say hello and don't, follow our plan. We will not tolerate. But Lord Chaitanya, he's trying to help us to see, no, if you actually want to get where the holy name is flowing, you have to be tolerant as a tree. And the trees, they just stand there. I mean, they don't, they cannot even move, You can be so tolerant that you cannot even change the situation. Whatever the situation is, you just kind of like, you just tolerate it. It just came to you, and that's how it is, So it's a very, very difficult thing as long as we are conditioned souls. That's why Lord Chaitanya, there are 4 things in this verse these are so difficult. As long as we are conditioned souls, these are most difficult to attain. To be tolerant, to be humble, and then to be free of false prestige. And that's to think that we are ourselves a very special person. And in some other verses, the translation is to not want to have respect for yourself, but to be ready to offer all respects to others. This translation is a little bit different, and it's not so easy to understand, but in another place where it's translated to not want respect for yourself, but want to offer respect to others, it's a little more easy to understand, because what is prestige? We don't even think we need prestige, but it's prestige thing. It's the thing that we want respect and appreciation, and that others kind of like maybe not worship us, but at least ask for our opinion. We want to have some influence, and we want so all of these things. We want some respect for ourselves. It's in the conditioned mind. It's the idea that I am at the center of the universe, and it's the same idea. That's why we are in the material world in the first place. So Lord Chaitanya, he's kind of like giving us the means of how to turn the consciousness that we can actually come out of the material condition. And that is by not wanting respect for ourselves and by giving all respects to others. And this is so difficult. Every single day we are faced with the same problem. There is not one day that doesn't go where we will make a mistake in this direction. That we will want respect for ourselves and not give respect. There is not one day. You can see. But now we have like a new year. We can kind of like try to maybe focus on the good qualities of others and giving respects to others and thinking of the benefits of others before we think of our own benefit and all of these things. So everything is in this verse, and Lord Chaitanya has given us to help this, overcome this. So, and if we can do that, then Lord Chaitanya, he's giving us a promise in the verse, because he's saying, in such a state of mind, you can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So that's the blessing. But it's like 4 doors you have to go through. You cannot chant the holy name of the Lord constantly if you have not gone through these 4 doors. It's like blocking us in the consciousness. So I don't have so much time, but I will just kind of like read the next ones, because it's like these prayers, these 8 prayers, they become more and more elevated. You know, the last prayers, it's like they are really like top high. But that's the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because that's where he wants to take us. He don't want to leave us here. He actually wants to guide us step by step by step to this most highest level of longing. So this is the direction that these prayers are going. So I just will read them. I will not comment on the rest, I'll just read them. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavichamba jagadizam mamaye mama janmani ishvari bhavatat bhaktiya haituki svai. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire any beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Yeah, of course, in this verse, beautiful company of the opposite sex. That's what you can put in this verse. It doesn't matter man, woman. That's what it's meant. And no followers, and no wealth, and only the causeless mercy, birth after birth. So it's like the soul, within this verse, the soul has already given the realization of the eternal nature, because you are asking Lord Chaitanya to engage in devotional service eternally, birth after birth. So it's like you have already come to that understanding within this verse. Ajinanda chanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddhao kripaya tava pada pangaja shtidadu lisadi sam vichintaya. O son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Nayanam galadashu daharaya, varanam gatgada rudaya gira, pulakai nishchitam vapurkada, tavanama grahane bhavishyati. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your holy name? Yuga yisha yimeshena shakshasha parisha jitam sunyam yidam jagat sarvam Govinda vidahe name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. Aslishava pararatam pinastu mamadasanam mamahata karotu va yada yada yavidadadu lampato mat prananatas tusa evana paraha. Mat prananatas tusa evana paraha. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. So these prayers, they are deeper and deeper and deeper, and they will, when you go into these prayers and go deeper in the understanding of these prayers, Lord Chaitanya will just pick you out of the material world. He will actually place you as an atom on the lotus feet of the Lord. That will be the result. You can benefit immense. And this is the only thing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left in writing. Therefore, it is so endlessly potent. It doesn't. The potency of this doesn't stop, and the more you churn it and read it and recite it and go deeper, you will, and every time you will get new benefit. So this is like a personal gift. You were not here in the beginning, but we were asking what is our new year, how our new year, and I was explaining that for us the new year starts on Gaurapunima. We have a different calendar. We have this beautiful calendar, and that's how our year starts. And for me personally, since many years, I always have this time between the appearance day of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is like a second Kartik. It's like a very special time. You can go deep and you can meditate about the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you can benefit immensely. So, thank you very much. If there is some questions or comments, we can do really short. Or somebody, maybe, Sarada, can you ask if prasadam is ready? Some questions, comments, something? And the calendars, if you don't have a calendar yet, the Goloka Dhama calendar, the Vaishnava calendar, you can get it in the shop. I'm making some advertisement because it's really beautiful. You have nice, you have all the dates, which is important, all the Vaishnava dates, which is important, but you have also very beautiful pictures of the deities and of the place, and it's nicely done. And so, if you don't have a Vaishnava calendar at home yet, you should get one.
So, as per the Western calendar, when is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthday
this year? This year it is on the Purnima on the 18th of March. Yeah. So that's like the first big festivals, but like I said, there is the appearance day of Advaitacharya, which is very powerful and important to us. It comes before, and 1 week later it's the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. So we have this very special, and then we have Shivas Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit. They also within almost the same time frame. They also appear. Yeah.
What do you recommend for the second Kartik at that time? What do you recommend?
No, I personally, like in Kartik, you take like a vow of rounds or reading or something. I personally like to go very deep in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like reading about him, or you know. One of the first summary studies that Srila Prabhupada translated. I mean, now now we have like all the books and we have like everything. But one of the very first books that Srila Prabhupada translated was the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which is like a summary study of all the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the different discussions he had with the different devotees, and not so much the leelas, but more deep the personal exchanges he had. That's very, very nice to read. And Srila Prabhupada gave it very early, so we can kind of like know what was Lord Chaitanya about, what was his way of thinking and line of philosophy and like that. And he gave it, I think, 67, 68 or something, very early. Mm. It's interesting to see which book Srila Prabhupada translated when. Because the Krishna book he also gave very early. And the Nectar of Devotion he also gave very early. He hadn't finished the Bhagavatam, he never actually. And then Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita book he put, like also before he finished the Bhagavatam. So he wanted that this we should have also before. And even within the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he translated the 7th chapter first, before the whole book. So if you read the 7th chapter, you can just read the 7th chapter. That's the explanation of the Panchatattva. You can read that, and you will be so much, because he kind of like, he didn't know how much time he had, so he had to be picky about what he gives. So you can start somewhere within the line of coming to know more, have more appreciation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's perfect. That's perfect. But it's only 1 month and you have 17 books. So if you can read 17 books within 1 month, go for it, You start a little you start at Advaita Acharya's appearance day, maybe you can make it. Yeah. And sometimes you think, then I will only read the verses. But Srila Prabhupada's ecstasies are in the purport, so you miss a lot. You miss a lot of Prabhupada's personal association if you read only the verses. So when you read Srila Prabhupada's books, it's so nice to go through each and every purport also, because Srila Prabhupada is personally there. And he wrote the books for us also. So, yes. Something else? So you will do something in the month? Something for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. Nice. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hari Bol.